Hey, real quick before we get into this video, tonight, November 12th, I have my first Dragon Ball Fusion World FB04 tournament. It's online webcam with FB04 proxies legal, so make sure to check it out. Link in the description, and hope to see you there tonight. Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and I have 5 more deck lists for the FB04 meta, this time using leaders that have existed before, so these are using some older leaders that have kind of bumped up with some new support that they've gotten, and just some kind of new cards in general. So I do want to kind of mention that maybe these aren't the most competitive decks or leaders, but they got enough support that I wanted to kind of re-look into them, try to make some deck lists, and that's kind of what we have here. So if you guys want any of these deck lists, they are linked on my website, Eggman Events, which is linked in the description. I'm also going to be updating this for tournament results as we get them too, and then also this is a living page, meaning I will update it as we go for it, including I got some suggestions for my Vegeta list from the last video, so I have updated that on the website too. I've added this Son Gohan future, which was quite a miss for me. I do apologize not recognizing how powerful this card is, and as a 10k that also just plays out your bodies, it's definitely a really good add. So this is what the deck list looks like now, and I think it's definitely a card I missed, so I do apologize for that one. But again, these will be updated as I get them, as I have different builds that I do appreciate, and again, we will have tournament deck lists too. So we're going to go over one leader from every color. These are not necessarily the best deck list for each color, but they are decks that I did want to kind of re-explore. They're kind of a mix of decks that I liked in the past, but also got a little bit of new support, or just like a new way to build that. So that's kind of the idea for it. Again, these are pretty new deck lists, right? The game's not even out in FB04, so these are pretty volatile. So if you have any suggestions or any other deck lists that you guys think are better or anything like that, let me know. I'd be definitely interested in the future to change these and make them better for y'all. So if you're watching this and it's like a week old, there's a good chance this page is completely different, and there's just some solid deck list there too. So we're going to start off though with our red leader, which is going to be Jiren, and Jiren's been pretty good in the FB03 meta. It's won quite a few tournaments. It does kind of revolve around the fact that this 4-cost Jiren is pretty strong, though I think more and more colors outside of yellow will have just a lot of interaction with getting rid of this card for you not to get as much value with it. So I do think it's still good, but there are some nice little support cards that we got for this in general, mostly the addition of this topo. So 4-drop 30k that says on play you take 1 damage if your leader is awakened, add the top card of your deck to your life. So essentially this is a draw 2 if you see with the leader, right? So the fact that you're able to permanent, if you have a battle card with 30k power or more, you only take up to 1 damage in each battle, and also auto, when you take damage you get to draw a card. So this will let you draw a card from your life, and then you also get to draw a card from your leader effect, and then you get to put the card back into your life. So super strong. And then even if you're not, it helps you awaken if you need to. Not that I think you do, but it is a solid card for like the late game. Just like a draw 2 on a 30k body is really handy. So the other thing is that we have 2 different 6-drops that exist for us right now. We do have the Jiren for it. So permanent, this card can't be removed from the battle area by your opponent's skills, and then on play, if your leader has Pride Troopers into special traits, your opponent life is at 2 or more, you take 1 damage, then deal 1 damage to your opponent. So this can come up sometimes. It's kind of like a pseudo double strike, right? Because you're able to do 1 damage, then if you attack with it, you get to draw 2 cards with it, but you have to go down from like 2 life to 1, which is a little bit scary. But if you're at 3 life and you're able to play this guy, you get some advantage for it. So I am worried that it's a little bit too expensive and a little bit too late in the game. If this is a 5-cost, like 35k, I'd probably be a little bit more confident in playing it, but I'm not sure right now if we're going to have the time for it. So I think this card is still strong, but it is just a little bit susceptible to that. And we also do have the secret rare from FB04 as well. So on play until the end of your opponent's next turn to get the next damage that you take. Then also when attacking, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and they get minus 20k power for this turn. So this card I think might be a little bit better for us, even though it does get removed a little bit easier. It does have like just the inherent, like you lose, like your opponent doesn't do a damage, and there's some interesting kind of mechanics with that too. So either or, I don't know which one I like a little bit more. I think you don't of the combination of these two. I don't think you're playing more than 3 copies, so whichever one you like the most, you'd play 3, or you can do like a 2-1 split. But I do think it can definitely help the game, because this is a deck that wanted to get to the late game anyways, and our biggest card was like this 5-drop Goku, right? So now that we have like these big 6 costs that do some really good effects and help us out a lot, I think that is impactful. The only issue with Jiren is that it doesn't have any interaction with board. Yeah, it's a 40k that just kind of sits here, but then there's still like some removal potential for it. So I don't know. We'll see how it does. I think Goku's probably just better of the two, but other than that, I think it's good. So other deck building choices for it is that, one, we're playing 4 copies of Tournament Power Arena. If we're able to establish this on like turn 2, we're able to just get like a lot of value throughout the game. So I do think it's worth a really good inclusion for this. We're playing just a bunch of like 1-drops and drawers with the Roshi and Piccolo. We have cost reduction with with Whis and Fua, and then Marcerita is just a good 10k. And then we are running a little bit of like the tournament power stuff. Gohan, Adolescence, this one, as well as the 3-drop from FB01, both just have really good removal potentials, and they're just super strong. So I think this is like a safe upgrade for the build. I don't think there's like a lot of new cards for it, but this Topo, I think, is just fantastic. It's kind of like mid-late game, where it does help you just refill your hand size, which again with a draw 2 is super good on a 30k body. And then we're down to 3 copies of this because I feel like there's just better things for us to do, and a lot of decks kind of have answers to it. So we'll see if we need to bump this back up to 4, but I just feel like most decks are going to be playing around the idea that this can get removed super easy, and it just doesn't really do anything. But we'll see if that's true or not. But this is my build for Jiren. I think Jiren's going to be moderately good in this next format, and it was obviously ended. FB03 is one of the best leaders in the game. So there it is. All right, next up we've got Vegeta, which has been one of my favorite leaders in the FB03 meta. Most of the reason I want to build this deck is because we got this Go Tanks in set 2 that says activate main, return this card to its owner's hand. If your leader is Vegeta, play up to 1 Go Tanks with a cost of 4 from your hand in rest mode. So we have this new Go Tanks package in this game. Specifically, the one big card is this Go Tanks here. So if you have 10 or more cards in your drop, this gets plus 5k power. Then also on play, place the top 2 cards of your deck into their owner's drop. Then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with 3 cost or less and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. So this is just like a really good card that we get to cheat out on turn 3 now, because we're able to again play this Go Tanks, attack with it, then use its effect to bounce it back into your hand, and then you get to play this other Go Tanks that gets the removal of something, right? So it's the same as playing something that removes something that costs 3, which is really good, and I think that's just like a good enough combo to just make it the one that we play with. So some other cards that we do have this Go Tanks as well. This is the one from starter deck 2, just being able to draw some cards if we need it, just another target as well. We have Piccolo, so this is from set 4. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, then reveal up to 1 Go Tanks or extra, add it to your hand, then place the rest of your bottom of your deck in a random order. So this helps us find the 3 cost or the 4 cost, and then also just any extras. So between all of these, I believe we have like 16 targets with the Gallic Gun and the Sinister Sickle. So we just have like some really good removal there. We have some Trunks Youth, some Goten. We have our Piccolo, our Pilaf, because we have to. Bulma and My Future. This also means like on turn 4, let's say that we went second, we could do something like we can play Go Tanks and play My Future, and then attack with Go Tanks, bounce it back to our hand, and then we can play this Go Tanks and get rid of a 4, right? So because we're now flexible with how this removal works, we get that extra bonus there too. And then just our Vegeta, Zeno kind of top, and that we're pretty used to for this one. So I think it's just this is like a small upgrade once again, but again, I really this card just reads kind of broken with the new Go Tank stuff, because it's cost of 4 specifically, which is really nice. So other than that, I think this deck is Vegeta's been really good. The fact that it just has really great value. 5-drop Vegeta's been just consistently strong in this meta too. And then also we do have like the Zeno to just kind of do the board wipe too, which does get rid of fields, which I do think is going to be potentially important moving forward. I think more and more decks are using field cards, so this being able to get rid of those fields can be really strong too. So we'll see what Vegeta looks like. I'd be very surprised if Vegeta isn't around in next format. I think Gohan will also be around, but I think Vegeta's just generally the best generic blue leader that we have, and if there's any generic packages, we can definitely take advantage of it. So there is the Vegeta list there. The next up we got Cell, and Cell is one of my favorite characters in the Dragon Ball universe, and I really did not like his leader in FB02, and then FB03 it still was like kind of lackluster, but we did get a really good card with FB04 with this 3-drop Cell. So activate main, place this card in its owner's drop. If your leader is Cell, place up to 1 Cell Games Arena into your battle area from your hand in rest mode. So being able to use this to play out your Cell Games Arena on 3 instead is super worth it. It just means that we can do stuff on 4. It also means that if we're awakened, which some leaders let us do that, we can go, all right, so we start the turn on 4, we charge to 5, we use our leader effect to go to 6, and then we can tap Cell Games Arena to go to 7, which just means that we get to go to 8 the next turn, which is really impactful. So I think that helps us out, and it also means we can do stuff on 4, which is kind of nice if we so need to. It also just leaves some energy open for some of our defensive stuff. So some additional cards from here. We also got Aandroidd 18. So on play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 card at the cost of 5 or less, and Aandroidd and special traits, and add it to your hand. Place the rest of the bottom of your deck in a random order. So that helps us there. We also have, because of that too, I do have like a package of like Aandroidd 18 cards. So you also have like the 2 cost, which is good for like getting some additional draw midway through. We have Krillin, which is obviously super strong. This helps us look for an Aandroidd 18 R and an extra and add it to our hand. So that means it helps us find our Cell Game Arenas, so which we desperately need to see, I think, in this build specifically. We also have the new Nappa. I think this card's actually pretty dumb. The more I look at it, I'm like, what's the actual cost of this card, right? We get to ramp a card. Like, even if it's from your, like, you get to ramp from life, which, but that's pretty good, right? It means you don't get to really do anything late game with it because it's hard to, you have to like charge it after you play your first one, but there's also just a solid chance that this Nappa is just better than like trying to do the Cell Game stuff, so you might want to put more copies of it here. But I do think like this is a card that helps Cell, because it's kind of in a weird spot. Like Cell only ramps when it is awakened, and it's only at 5. So there's so many times where I'm like, I'm at 6 energy and now I have to awaken, and then I kind of lose out on the extra +1 from it, right? So like the fact that I can use this Nappa to help me get ramped up, but also be able to self-awaken, which green generally has a bad time with. I think this is a good card for a lot of green decks, including Cell, which is going to be good. So other than that, I think we've just got like our generically good green cards, right? We've got Cell. This is from FB03. This could be the worst card that we have, but it is a Cell. That's an Aandroidd. That is a 10k. So it's just like another 10k, but also blocker and 1 KO. Choose up to 1 card with a cost of 4 or less in a battle area. Add it to its owner's energy in rest mode. So this can get rid of Jiren. It can get rid of like Son Goku GT. There's a lot of good cards that this can interact with that your opponent kind of has to respect, which is kind of nice. So I like the idea of it. If it's bad, it's fine, but it's a 10k, so it's never like the worst card in your deck. And then also, we are playing the FB03 Cell, same kind of idea, but on play, if your leader is Cell, choose all cards that cost 6 or less from your opponent's battle area, add them to its owner's hand in rest mode, and then when KO'd, place 1 card from your energy in its owner's drop, and then play this card from your drop area in rest mode. So being able to be hard to remove in general, be a 50k, being able to like do a board wipe, I think this is worth being played in the deck too. So I think this is great. We just kind of have like the Hercule package to just get some draw. We have like this Bulma that we play on 1 to help us cycle, and so 10k, and then just kind of the rest from here. So I do kind of want to put like an extra earth destroying blow, but I understand why we're not. Cell Jr. is also like a really good card in general, which is just super good in this deck. So I think that's impactful. But I think there's like some better synergy than usual for Cell, and I'm kind of excited for it. So we'll kind of see what that looks like. But I think this deck is in a good spot. I think this just helps us out. I don't know who helps us more, if it's Nappa or Cell, but either one of these, both of these are just really good turn 3 plays that we generally didn't have before that will help us either get to Cell Games Arena a turn earlier or help us get awakened, which means that we get benefits from our leader effect. So because again, Cell Games Arena as a stage is just pretty cracked once you establish it, and outside of Xeno, not a lot of decks have a way to remove it. So this is the build. I'm actually really looking forward to testing this, and this might be like one of the first decks I actually build with FB04 on the online client, just depending on what my card pools are. But here's the build there. All right, next up we've got Cooler, and if you know me, I loved Cooler in FB01. It was one of my favorite decks. I thought for a while that it could tend and be better than Frieza, but I think as time went on that Frieza just was generally better in the spot. But Cooler's just got such a unique effect, and the only thing that I think that's really holding it back is the fact that it's a critical leader, but it did get better with the rules change, meaning that we get to draw on turn 1, so that does help us. But it is a little bit tough, and it's kind of floating the line between like this aggro deck and like this control deck, but it's really unique. So if you guys don't know what this leader does, activate main battle once per turn, discard 1 card from your hand, choose up to 1 of your battle cards at the cost of 4 less, and Frieza Clan in its special traits are 1 of your energy, and you get to switch to active mode. So the fact that we get to switch an energy to active mode I think is cracked. At the time we didn't really have a lot of great defensive 1k or 1 cost cards, which I think has changed now too. So that's just super there's just like a lot to kind of re-explore with it. So the newest card though that we have is this Cooler here. So this is from FB04. On play, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. Auto once per turn when 1 of your battle cards other than this card is switched to active mode by your Cooler leader skill, draw 1. I really don't think it would have been broken if it was just any battle card, but I digress. It just makes it a little bit tricky to play with this. But the fact that it's a 3-drop 25k, that lets you self-awaken, which is really nice. And then also, even like mid to late game, you still get some good advantage with it too. So obviously you can use your leader effect with it. We want to be able to use like this Frieza too. So this card can't be switched to active mode during your charge phase, but then we can use our Cooler leader effect to change that, which is nice. Additionally, we do have the kind of the Bulma Vegeta package too. So Bulma being able, like, we just want to get to 4 life as soon as possible. So Bulma helps us do that. Vegeta helps us do that. I know that they don't like necessarily go with the deck necessarily, but the fact that Vegeta can play out any 1-drop, and then the fact that it protects your effects from being, or your cards from being KO'd, is really nice. So you can do something like play out your Frieza, and then you can like save it later, which is cool. We have a bunch of good 1-drops. We have Sorbet, we have Bulma, we have Frieza 1-drop as well. 2-drop Frieza is like our best card in the deck. We kind of need to see this on 2. If you want to play Zarbon instead of Sorbet to help us find our 2-drop Frieza, we can definitely do that. The issue though is that like this card is not searchable either, which is kind of stinky. So I think that's kind of rough for the deck, and consistency matters, but there are just some like good things to do with it. So we also are playing energy absorption. The fact that we get like 1 energy for free every turn just means that energy absorption with Cooler leader effect is a free cycle with a stun. So if that's what you need to turn your leader effect into this turn, that's usually okay. 4-drop Cooler still works with our leader really good and gets rid of like some tiny 2-drop bodies, which is nice. And then lastly, we got Frieza from FB02. Auto your turn once per turn when this card is switched to active mode by a skill. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's rest mode battle cards at the cost of 4 or less, and it can switch to active mode during your opponent's next turn. So being able to use this card specifically to, like attack, and then we refresh, and then it got attack. We get like the stun on something, which is really nice. It's only during your turn, unfortunately, but I think that's helpful. And if you just need like another stun, it's a 10k Frieza, right? So you're not like upset to play this card either a lot of the time. So again, we might need some Zarbons instead of Sorbets. I think Sorbet's just generally fine. And if you don't like the Bulma Vegeta package, you can definitely change it out. But I don't super like the Ginyu package right now for this deck. I think that we just kind of need to, like, the fact that the Ginyu package doesn't like interact with Cooler just kind of feels kind of bad, but it could just be better still. I don't know, but I haven't tested that package as much. But I think that I don't know, I like this leader too much. I really do. I think that there's some really cool stuff, and it's really just a shame that Yellow's been pretty lackluster for the last little bit, despite it being like the best color in the game from set 1, which is a bit wild to see. But I think Cooler does get a little bit better. I do think this is potentially good. The only issue is that, again, it's not searchable, and the fact that we're not able to switch itself to active mode is kind of rough. But I do think like we just don't get the draw. But the other thing is that this is on both players' turns. So if that comes up, if we need to like switch our Cooler, our 4-drop Frieza to active during our opponent's turn, that helps us a lot. And again, just get some free cycle, which is really nice too. So I don't know. I think Cooler has a chance. It just really depends on if you see this card. So it's a little bit bricky if you do so, but it's been fun to theory on this one. So here's the Cooler list. And then to wrap it up, we've got Son Goku GT. We don't have a lot of black leaders in this game right now. We now have 3, we've got the Bardock, the Son Goku GT, and now the baby Vegeta. But they've got such a good card pool in a lot of ways, and there are a couple new cards that came out of FB04 that I think can help out this leader. Generically, I think the best one is Trunks GT. So permanent opponent's turn, if you have an energy marker, your non-Trunks GT battle cards can't be removed from the battle area by your opponent's skills. So being able to play this, and then also on play up to 1 card from your life to your hand. These are just generically good things. The fact that we're able to use this, like let's say we're on 2 and we went second, so we have an energy marker, we play this, we get the life. If they don't have a way to remove this, then we play our 4-drop Son Goku GT next turn, and then it's just there for the game, right? They have to get rid of the Trunks GT and then the Son Goku GT. So that's very strong in a lot of ways. Obviously too, like if we have like Kakarot, we are able to establish the energy marker. Just being able to protect anything from skills, right? If it gets cost reduced, it doesn't get protection from that. Red still has like the best removal in the game, but you can just being able to play this card out and say, I am feeling very safe that it's not going to get removed, and then next turn too, I think that can be very strong. So there's also that's pretty much, like, honestly, that's it. This can work for either leader. If you like Bardock more, you can do that too. But I'm using the Son Goku GT because we did also get another new card of the Son Goku GT. So permanent, if your leader is Son Goku GT, and you have and this card is 45k power or more, and that's not including combos, just so we're all aware. This card gains double strike. So a 4-cost double striker is good. The one that existed previously, Rebrian, got banned from the game for comparison. But I think this one's definitely way more balanced. It just means that we can use our leader effect with this and just make a really strong like 45k double strike without like the big energy investment at times. So this has been we are adding a couple copies of these, so we're playing 1 less copy of this Bardock, especially since we have a little bit more removal with our Grade 8 baby. We're playing 2 copies of this, but on play up to 1 battle card with a cost of 2 or less from your hand, and then when attacking, choose up to 1 battle card with a cost of 3 or less and place it in its owner's combo area. So being able to use this and like there's like a lot of good cards with it. The best card in my mind is the Son Goku GT. Auto your turn when this card is used in a combo from the battle area. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 4 or less and return it to its owner's hand. So you can just play this out for 2 and then attack with leader and then combo with it and get rid of a 4 cost. So like a Jiren, like you just have permanent Jiren removal now, right? Like it used to have to be pan, and you had to play it for 2, and you had to have the energy marker, and you had to like attack with it. Now you can just combo for 2, right? Like this is like if you think of this as like an extra card, like I said, all right, 2-drop 10k that you get to remove a body, like it's fine. Like this is a super flexible card, and it's pretty silly. It's pretty silly how good this card is, and just how generically good, and a 10k. So that's definitely on my mind. You can play it off of Grade 8 baby if you need to, but you don't need to. You can just play it out for 2 and then combo with it. And then we obviously have Son Goku Go-10 GT. Bardock is like stupid strong with this leader because we can make it a 30k and attack with it twice, which is nice. And then lastly, we got this Pan GT, which came out of this set too. On play, choose up to 1 of your Son Goku GTs to get plus 5k power for the turn. Then if you have an energy mark, it gets another plus 5. So you can give it to your leader, make it a 30k. You can also give it to this guy, make him a 40k, and then use your leader ability to make it a 55, which is quite strong. So it's only for Son Goku GTs, but that's what our leader is, so we're playing it. It's like a worse Bulma, but that's fine. There's also some like weird things where you can like play this, and then you can use this effect to make your leader a 30k, and then you can use the energy marker to make this a 25, which is not awful if you need to, but generally speaking, and then like you get to, but you could also just attack with this and make it a 40k with itself, which is good, right? Like a one energy investment on a 10k to make your leader a 40k for the turn is pretty okay in my mind. So there's just like some good stuff. Obviously you can get it off Hercule, which is good in its own way, which means you have the marker as is, and then just kind of the rest, the good cards. So I think black has like some really good stuff going on. I think like Goku GT and Bardock are still going to be pretty viable. And if you like Bardock more, you can play Bardock with most of this package, just make some small changes, and it still works out. And then I am really looking forward to seeing how good Baby Vegeta is in general too. But that is the list, and that's going to be this video in general. So again, if you guys want any of these deck lists, they're on my website, Eggman Events, which will be continued to update. So the deck list you see on there right now might not be the one we went over the video, but it usually means it's a little bit better if that happens. So then also, again, we do have an event tonight, so make sure to check that out if if you haven't already. And I'm looking forward to see what this meta kind of develops into. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.